Bum, 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 bum. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Big Bad Bench. My name is John, aka Big Bad Biologist, and today we're going to be working on some 486 stuff. We got some processors, we got a couple motherboards, and hopefully we'll get some stuff working today. I don't know. Let's put this on here so you can see what we're doing. So this board right here is one that we fixed, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now. And that's cranking along. That's actually booted up right now. I want to show you one other fun little feature I found out about that thing. We also have these two processors. This is a Intel 486 Overdrive processor, which should be a 486 DX100. And this is an actual Intel 486 DX4 100. And I just noticed that we probably won't be able to use this CPU today because I don't have any motherboards that actually supports 3-volt CPUs. But we can futz around with the pins anyway. As you can see, the pins on these things were totally mangled. So all of the stuff that we're working with today were from that lot of e-waste that I bought from the kid a few weeks ago. And these two were just kind of banging around inside of a plastic bag. So I have no idea if these will work or not. But we'll get the pins straightened out and at least test the overdrive. So the difference is that, you know, the 486 DX4 100 runs at, I think it's 3.4 volts. The overdrive processor gives you a little bit of voltage regulation so that you can stick it in a regular 5-volt socket. So I don't think I have any 46 motherboards that support the 3.4 volt processors. Anyway, so while you're looking at this, let me say hi to folks in the chat. We got Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, Mac84, Ian Scott, Trina's Technobabble, Francois Revol, Rudy's Retro Intel, Lazy Blue Goat, Random Seed. Hey, Random Seed. I don't know if have you ever been here live before? Welcome. If not, welcome back. Who else is here? Jack68K. Sorry, no Mac stuff today. Jack68K. And Chris Angelis is here. Sorry, no Mac stuff. Chris Angelis. Everything is Broken Garage is here. Callan's here. Jamie's Hack Shack's here. What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for stopping by. Oh, Gut Bomb is here. Sorry about that. Rudy says, no video or audio. Someone is late. Come on, man. I was having technical issues. Every time I stop streaming or miss streaming for a week, I just like totally forget how to do it. So yeah. All right, let's make sure. I don't think I've missed anything. Lazy Blue Goat says, bending CPU pins, always a thrill. You know it. You know it. Chris Angelis needs to buy a retro PC so it fits in better. Nice. Well, let me know. I have plenty to choose from. So this is the 486 Cyrix 486 SLC 250 processor system that we worked in a couple weeks ago, and it works fine. It's wicked slow. But I did find one little fun feature that you can do with this thing. So let's see, can you see if I go here? So you can see we've got 4 megs of RAM. We have 4 1 meg sims in this thing. Oh yeah, I was checking. I think we're gonna need the oscilloscope later, so I was trying to get my oscilloscope working better. Probably won't be. Okay, but so here we go. Here's our four sims, 4 30-pin sims. Watch what you can do to this guy. Okay, so here we go. There. So you can see now we have 2 megs of RAM. And this thing works totally fine. It's telling me that we have, yes, that we have a memory size mismatch, and that's fine. But I didn't realize that the 486 SLC processor that's in this system functions like a 386 SX processor. So basically it works in 16-bit mode, or 8-bit mode, isn't it? Oh, now I'm confused. I've gotten my bits confused. But basically you can use it with just 2 sims. And that's really useful because sometimes you don't find a full set of 4 sims, and it helps to be able to just test 2 at a time. So that's one little useful feature of an otherwise pretty awful board. Basically, without cache, these things are not happy. It really impairs the performance of systems. The other thing is that the Cyrix 486 is not a particularly fast processor anyway, but it's a system. So, like I said before, I think maybe Justin D. Morgan, if anyone wants this system, just let me know. But very useful for sim testing. It's a very, very good thing. Hey, Bacchus is here. All right, let's set that aside. Okay, so these other two, we tested, I think, during the initial stream when I was looking at all this stuff, and basically they were dead. This one, I have modded the Dallas real-time clock, because sometimes these systems can be a little funky if you don't have a functioning Dallas real-time clock, but that did not fix it. So we'll have to get back to that one later. So let's try this one. I haven't really done much since then. I did this morning just unsolder the Dallas real-time clock from this one. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put in a socket, and you know, we like to do things janky here on the big bed bench, and I didn't have the appropriate, what is this, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. I didn't have the appropriate DIP 24 socket, so we're just going to modify a DIP 40 socket and plop that in there. And it's a lot easier to work with these Dallas chips if they're or Dallas modules if they're in a socket. Okay, all of our things poke through. Are we all poked through? Yes, we are all poked through. Okay, let's do some rapid fire solder action in the microscope. Maybe we could get it in focus. There we go. There we go. Oh, my soldering iron's not on. Oh, we're having issues. We are having so many issues today. Do we ever not have issues? Oh, shit. Oh, sorry, YouTube. We gotta shut this off. Look at this. This is one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of this Weller. The tips are not particularly great. They swap very easily. But that is, ow, it's hot. Oh, did you just see the smoke coming off my skin? Ow, I just burnt myself. Ah, jeebus. What the heck is happening here? They bend way too easy. And it just made like a snapping noise. I don't trust this tip right now. So let's go with this guy. I like bent tips better, but not the way that one bent. See, that one's nice and straight. Okay. Dave says, oh, John. Ah, man. Yikes, you can smell that from here. Ow, that hurts. Oh yeah, we are off to a great start today. I like having the bent tips. It actually does help if you have, I don't think I have one here, but you know how the math coprocessors on the SE30, the PLCC, I think that's the right style, are sort of bent over. It helps to get under there. It makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, it bit me. Yep. I'm really good at hurting myself. You don't know. Like, it's probably what I'm best at. Yeah, I've been in, oh, see, look, you don't even want to see my face. Who wants to see that? Um, I've been in construction mode lately. My parents, the reason I didn't stream last weekend is because my parents visited. Um, my dad is 72 years old, but he acts like a 20-year-old, and he is an absolute beast. So we did a bunch of construction projects, or well, mostly it was one construction project that took up a lot of different avenues. One of my, actually, the wall right in front of me that the camera is on, we had to lift that whole wall up and put a new sill plate under it. So that was not a fun project. All of my stuff, like that camera is actually kind of mounted to the wall. I just noticed before the stream that it was like moving. It was pointing somewhere else. But we made a lot of progress. I posted it privately to a few friends, but I might post publicly to show the picture of the dumpster that I've started filling. It's probably 3/4 of the way full right now. Dave says, please stay away from high voltage. Yeah. Yeah, and Callan says, under the scope, the bent tip helps. That's one of the good things about my microscope is I have a long enough working distance that I don't really have to worry about that, but I did my old microscope. That thing, I had very little working distance, and the bent tips did help with that a lot. But yeah, one of the other projects that I was working on after they left turns out that about another 10 feet in front of that sectional wall also needs its sill replaced. But in the process of working on that, I found the electricity that runs to my workshop, and I found that there's a whole electric line that was just sort of in the wall. I had no idea where there was a circuit breaker for it, and I had no idea where it ran, and basically it just ran to inside the wall, which is always safe. But basically that'll let me run a whole new electric line back here to the workshop on its own circuit, so that when I use my hot air station, we should get less light flickering. That should be really nice. Okay. Everything is broken, Garage says. When you say you found, did you find it with a Sawzall? No. I was tearing apart a part of the wall that I knew there was some electric in, and I found that one. But luckily that circuit's been dead. I have had it shut off for forever because I didn't know where it went. Okay, so we got our socket in. We're gonna steal this Dallas module from this one. The one thing is sometimes they trim the bottom of these legs, and it does make it hard to use sockets, but these look fine. Okay, so we're gonna stick that in there like that. That in there like that. Oof, Jack 68K found a capped off live wire. Yeah. Well, as we were lifting this wall up, we found electric wires in that wall. I mean, I tested them with a little, the pen thing that I have. And I could see they weren't live, but as we went through more of the wall, it turned out that they basically just cut the wires off at both ends and left the wires inside the wall. which, you know, I guess it's okay. It's annoying when you're doing work and you come across a wire and you don't know what to do with it. Okay, what do we do here? We do not put the reds together. Why? Because we showed before that when you do that, you can explode things. So go back and look at that stream where we checked out these all these bits with this e-waste, and we exploded some tants by hooking up the power the wrong way there. So always make sure to put your black wires together in the middle there for your AT power supply. Okay, so we got our Dallas in there. We got a keyboard. And what do we got? Oh, we got something happening. Yeah, now we got life. All right. Come on, wake up. Random seed, yes. Red, you're dead. I literally said, Red, you're dead on my stream. And then I hooked it up the wrong way and we exploded tants. Okay. So let's set this to today's date. It's always nice to check. What is today, the 24th? And I think if we go to 1997, yeah, it brings us up to the right day of the week. Got none of that stuff installed. Let's see what else we got in this BIOS. External cache memory, internal cache memory, that has no cache on it, so we'll only be using the internal 486 cache. There's not even a socket for the math coprocessor. Oh, well, that's because it's a 486, but sometimes they put sockets on. What else? Ooh, got some wait state control. That's nice. Okay. That's right to this. Buck says that was a fun explodey stream. Sweet. Okay, so we also don't have our turbo switch jumper installed. So that's that one. Sometimes some boards require a jumper installed, but let's see what happens here. So let's go to, all right. CD DOS bench, and let's go to Norton sysinfo. Yeah, Baca says the 487 FPUs in separate sockets, which were basically 486DX processors, but they were just called a 487. Okay, so you can see we're benchmarking with this as 53.5, which is a SX25, so that actually kind of makes sense. Let's see what happened. We're going to put a jumper on the turbo switch. Oh, we go down. Okay, so this is a good example of the difference. So this board that we were just working with, you're not going to be able to see it there, but there's a jumper. Oh, you can kind of see it. There's a jumper there on the turbo switch to make it go into the full speed mode. This one, if you put the jumper on the turbo switch, it makes it go into low speed mode. So you always have to check each board. They're always different. So that's showing up about where it should be. I think my monitor is cable's a little dirty. Let's just do a Doom low details real quick. Everything is broken. Garage says BIOS with the CGA color palette. Yeah, we talked before about that green and brown and purple. What a fun color palette that is on those BIOSes. Someone mentioned that they always just turn it to black and white immediately, which makes a lot of sense because that's kind of painful to look at. But I've grown sort of accustomed to it over the years. I think that's VGA cable. Don't have a link in the chat, but I do have a benchmarking thing that I've been keeping track of. Of different stuff. But I will put a link in there later. But let's see what our Doom benchmark says. This is just the low one. I know the high is going to be painful, although this is kind of painful to watch just because of how small it is. 3056. 3056. So that got us 24.4 frames per second. The SLC 50 other motherboard, this one got 19.9 frames per second. So this DX is a little or this SX system is a little bit faster. Cool. Well, that's fun. All right. Oh, we're not going to do all of them, but let's see there. So that's my little benchmarking sheet, and this I do have it shared publicly, theoretically. I don't know if I want to show that. But yeah, I do have a public share of this if people want to look at 486 benchmarking information for some different systems. This was from when we were doing the ISA challenge, when we were trying to get over 25 frames per second with just a 486 system with an ISA bus as opposed to these a local bus. Okay, but anyway, this one's good, so that's really exciting. Oh, also, yeah, if we go back to here, I think this board is the FIC or FIC 486J. So there is the retro web, as always, has lots of great information. There's not a whole lot of options on this board as far as jumper settings. They do have a BIOS available for it, which is nice. Oh, there. Okay. All right, so let's go to our next board. So that one was easy. Yay, we fixed the thing. All right, so let's shut this down. I guess, we're gonna have to lose our settings. Oh well. Oh well. All right, so this thing has a 25 megahertz clock. Crystal, right there. Doink. Oh, I always do that. I always bend those legs. I should be more careful. Okay. The other side, we get a speaker. Got another speaker. Got speakers all over. Yay, something kind of sort of fixed. All right, and again, this one was totally dead, or it seemed totally dead. Nothing was happening with the postcode reader or anything. And all I had to do was change the Dallas chip and get that fixed up. Okay, so this board I think is an Asus or Asus. People everything is broken garage. Are you critiquing how I'm storing these Sims right here? Let's see, this one. Oh, You're not looking at the right thing here. Baka says Aces, according to people who work at Aces. Web capture. So this is Asus. I'm gonna say it Asus. ISA 46S board. They do have the jumpers and whatnot for this thing on this board, which is useful because, so like, where are we at here? Oh, like for the CPU switch selection, it tells you what on and off are. If we look at the actual board, they have it silk screened on there, but it's hard for me to figure out what on and off means by these jumper settings. So right now we're off, 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 on, on. So what does that mean according to the other thing? Off, 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 on. So that should be a 46SX processor. Hi, DIY is here. How's it going? Okay, let's go back to here. All right, let's put our real-time module back in. And again, you know, I think I've done this before on stream. But basically, these you just kind of grind away up here, you grind away up there. Eventually, you'll find metal underneath there. For this one, you actually have to grind a little bit deeper and make a disconnection, and then you put your minus over here and your plus over here. This one must have been socketed from factory because it actually has a 24 pin. Okay. One thing I did do today, but I haven't tried it since, was I noticed that these jumpers were very corroded, so I ripped those off, put a little bit of deoxit on there, and put new jumpers on. One interesting thing that this board has is a weird memory socket. I would love to find the adapter that goes inside that memory socket thing. Okay. Oh, I do have some of those. The 30 pin to 72 pin adapters. Yeah, I have a couple of those. Okay, we'll put our postcode thingy in there, and we'll skip this for now. I'm pretty sure this isn't gonna go. Okay, got memory, got that, got that. Let's go. Okay, so you can see our postcode reader is doing nothing. We got nothing happening. I forgot. Oh, did I put the? No, we got to put a speaker on here. Kind of just made a little beep there. Let's keep a closer eye on this and see what happens with the lights. Let's see if we got a reset. Yeah, the reset came on super quick and then went away. So got nothing happening there. So this is a 50 megahertz crystal that's in this thing right now. Let's go slower. Let's go down to a 28. Sometimes we have like a divider that happens in the logic somewhere, but sometimes it's straight. Like that last one, it was a 25 megahertz crystal, and for a 25 megahertz clock. Let's try this one. Maybe it has the wrong crystal in there. Nope, we still got nothing. Okay. So let's try. So the TLDR I DIY from the earlier bit on the stream was that we fixed one of the boards. I showed a little trick from the board that we worked on last week that you only needed to put 2 SIMs in it in order to get the board to work, which is a nice little party trick, because most 486s are going to need, and most 386s are going to need, okay, so yeah, this says SX33 on it. Let's try a processor that I know is good. This one's a DX266. So yeah, it lets you only use 2 SIMs at a time, which means it doesn't have much memory bandwidth, but it's a really useful feature when you're trying to test if you only have 2 of a certain SIM to see if they're working. Oh yeah, and then also I bent my soldering iron tip and then burned my finger with it. You can see there. Okay, so now we got to change up our jumpers because we're putting in a DX processor. So we go back to this thing, we should be on, off, off. So back to here. So we got to go on, off. Just gonna double check that. On, off. Okay. All right, let's try this. Let's see if our processor was bad. Oh, that time we almost got something. So our thing now says FF. Still got no beeps. We got nothing else happening after that. This one does have the turbo switch installed, but let's take that one off, see what happens. Again, we got FF. Oh, we got beeps. Okay, so what did I do there? I twisted the board. We are not getting video though. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's try a different socket, slot, whatever. Deoxid up that mofo. Oh, got memory counting, and we got VGA. Sweet. Oh, we got keyboard error. Oh. Let's go there. So that turned on. So that processor might be dead. That's weird. That is weird. All right, let's shut that off and put in our keyboard. I'm gonna deoxid that keyboard socket real quick. Ooh, just sprayed that everywhere. Digital Kraken, hello, welcome. Yeah, I flexed the board and that fixed it. Enter current password. Yeah, right. Okay, it says we got 0 KB cache memory. Where the heck would it be storing a password? Jack68K says that's like blowing out the end of a cartridge. Yeah. Random Seed says jiggle the ROM socket. Yeah, that is one thing that this board was kind of corroded. I did deoxit this socket. It could be that it's finally starting to make contact. I did polish these legs. You can see that the top is kind of corroded and the bottom's kind of shiny. And if we look at these pins right here, pretty darn corroded. Sabaka says 0K of cache because only every second cache socket is populated. So let's look at this. So you can see they're labeled bank 0 and bank 1. So all the zeros are populated. The weird thing is normally you have a tag cache module that goes alongside of this, which is not here. There are 2 empty sockets right here. So let's check the manual and see what that says. Let me put this back in before I forget. Hey, Mr. Tack Gadgets here. Is Justin here? Justin's password was rocks. Or all zeros. Okay. Let's put in our little thing here. Our XT IDE. Counting RAM. Oh, sorry. Let's go to here. I'm interested to see what our CPU speed is because it had a 50 megahertz crystal in it, and that was a SX33, which definitely was the wrong crystal for the processor. So if it was something that fast, that looks like it's drawing pretty slow. Let's do check CPU. Okay. Wow, okay. So, that's kind of interesting. So it's thinking that our bus speed is 12.5, which is basically half of the 28. So it probably should be a 50. Let's see what happens. Let's get out of here. Let's go to system info. Yeah, so it's probably taking the crystal and dividing that by 2. The other thing is we got to double check and see about the turbo switch. So let's go here. Yeah, this is wicked slow. Yeah, it's showing up as a 3.9. Let's put our turbo switch back on. Whoa! It did not like that. Don't use your turbo switch thing. Okay, that's interesting. That is a hard lock. Let's reset it. Does not like to be turbo switched on the fly. What actually makes the mechanical sound when the PCs count RAM? Yeah, it's just the speaker making PC speaker noises. Dragon Lord, welcome to the channel. Telling me to wait. Okay, so this seems to have hung. That's interesting. All right, so let's go back to here. Let's shut this off. It seems to not like the turbo. Let's go back to this crystal and see what happens. Okay, so we're going from the 28 megahertz crystal to a 50. Got our turbo switch off. Okay. And our turbo switch is off there. Yes, our theoretically now we should have a 25 megahertz bus clock, and this is a DX2, so we should be running at a DX250. Let's see if this goes any faster. CD DOS bench. DOS bench. And let's go to system info. I still think the turbo isn't working. Which, some systems the turbo is related to the cache. Okay, so this is saying 51 megahertz now. Oh. Let's switch this up. There we go. Sorry. This is more usable. 7.2. Yeah, we're still not there. I think the turbo switch is not engaged. There we go. Let's do check CPU. It's telling us that our bus clock speed is 22.8. What kind of a weird divider is that? Let's get out of here. Let's boot it and let's see if we can get into the BIOS. Yeah. Okay. Well, apparently, whatever the password is, I think it's just hit enter. Okay, that time is correct. What do we have here? Internal and external is enabled. Yeah, that's set. So there's something weird going on with this system. Okay, yeah, so our password is just that. Boo, 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 boo. Okay. So we're definitely not running at the right speed. I think there's something wrong with the turbo. All right, let's see what blah 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 blah. All right, let's see what we can figure out about the cache. So let's look at the manual. So before we set our dip switches correctly, cache jumper configuration. Oh yeah, so this is a cool thing about this board that I noticed before. To set the cache size, you have these resistor packs, and you just put the whole thing across there, which is that's a neat way to do that. Our cache modules say 24257. I have a feeling that is going to be a 32K cache module. Let's go back to here. Our jumper's set for 128. Yeah, and so if we look at the configuration there, 128K, 32K by 8, 32K by 8 in bank 0, which is what we have, but we need an 8K by 8 in the tag module. That's what I was thinking before, right? That we need to have that tag cache module in there. So we need to add another chip to U27. So there's U27 and U28. So yeah. So one of the other things I was working on this morning, just so happens, as you can see, we have a whole pile of cache modules here. They were also in that bag of random chips from that lot. And I went through, if we go in the microscope, I checked the model, the part numbers, and I measured, because normally the ones you run into are 32 by 8 or 8 by 8. And so these were all the ones we had. So these are all 32 by 8s. There's this nice set of 9 matching 32 by 8. So the cache itself would be the 8, and then the 9th would be the tag module for these. So there's all 32 by 8s. And there were 2 8 by 8s in there. So hopefully this is what we need to do. Just add our tag module, and we should be good to go. Oh, well, no. Well, that's a poop. Look at this. We got extra pins. Can't have extra pins. What is that? What is that crap? Okay, so let's see. So this is my highly, all the retro people are going to be really mad at me for this. This is how I store a lot of my chips and whatnot. These are mostly old SRAMs, or no, DRAM chips. So maybe, here's my other SRAMs. What the heck, bro? Look at this. So I have ones that are smaller. but it's too small. Okay, do I have any other ones? So these are all this style. That's not the right one. Well, poo. That is poo. So I'm gonna have to find. Yeah, Goldilocks board, as III DIY says. Well, that's annoying as poop. All right. Well, at least it works. Like, it powers up. I think it's not functioning because the cache, right? The board is telling it that we have 128K installed, but it can't access it because we don't have the right things. Well, so this is going to have to wait until I can find the right chips. Ooh, Bacchus has Indian food. Nice. So we'll revisit this one. Gotta put these. Gotta store these somewhere safe. Okay, we'll do that later. I'll do that off stream. You don't have to watch me organize myself. Let's get to these 486s, the DX4s. I'm really excited about this. Super excited about the DX4s. I wish I had a board that had. Hey, RetroTech Chris is here. It's the anti-PC chips board. It takes cache, just an odd type. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the microscope. So, here's our DX4, the SX900, the Intel number. But yeah, it's a 3.3 volt chip. So we're not going to be able to test this one today, but it does make my brain itch to have all these pins all bent over. So let's work on this. So I like to use tweezers. The other option is, this is my mechanical pencil from 1996, back when I used to do this. And you can just slide that over, give it a little wiggle. And these work real nice too. So however you like to straighten your pins, it's pretty much always going to be okay. Just go slow. You don't want to like rock it around here. You can also kind of use a credit card to get them all aligned together. So yeah, that's coming together. That's going to be nice. That's going to be much nicer now. I'll be able to sleep knowing that these pins are straightened. So I can use the pencil to get them close. And then we'll take the tweezers and mush them all together, make sure that they're all aligned with one another nicer. Not getting it perfect with the pencil, we're just making them less bad. Oh, I should be in better focus. Sorry, folks. Sorry, folks. Happy little pins. That's right. Happy little pins. Callan says the legs are very forgiving. I had one bent over. Yeah. It's amazing how pliable they are. They will snap. That's a thing that happens sometimes, especially if they've been bent more than once. But yeah, they are pretty darn forgiving. Sometimes you get a little jag in there, like this one. We got a double. This is where this kind of thing works really nicely, because you can kind of get in there and get the top part. See, we've kind of straightened it a little bit. Now you can go down to the bottom part and straighten that. Do that on that one too. Oh, I had some other exciting news this week I forgot to share earlier. I don't know if anyone remembers, a while ago I worked on a Silicon Graphics SGI Indigo 2. We recapped the power supply and it powered on, but it had a user password. So I've been investigating ever since then, and I found out who the machine originally belonged to. And I had a call with them this week, and they gave me the password. So I was able to power on the system and boot into the OS. Very exciting. So I'm going to have the chance to learn how to use a Silicon Graphics machine now. It'll be my first time ever playing with one of those. Super excited about that. I think what I'm going to do is use Blue Scuzzy initiator mode to make a backup of that hard drive, and then I'll give him an image. This is a very furry processor. Okay, so now that they're all kind of close, we can come through and sort of use our tweezers to make them all line up together. So we're just warming up here since we can't actually test this one today. This is just my warm up for the Overdrive chip. Get out of there, you fuzz. This is not dog hair. Well, it might be dog hair. It's not my dog hair though. I would recommend that the first time you use these kinds, that like once you straighten your pins out, put them into a ZIF socket first, as opposed to the ones you actually have to exert force in, like that last board that we used. It's a little bit less stressful and helps you make sure your pins are all aligned before you go into one of those other types. So yeah, that's why I like the combination of the tweezers. Like if they're not bent that bad, the tweezers work really well to get everything all nice and aligned. But if they are kind of bent too far, then the mechanical pencil helps bring it over. And get them real close. But I like the tweezers because it helps you kind of get them all in the same place. And I'm just like really just kind of squeezing the tweezers together. I'm tweezing them. And this is, you know, if you have a 68040 processor that you need to do this to, the same applies. Just take your time. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, that'll make my brain less itchy. All right. Random Seed says, first do X, then do Y. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. All right, so let's try this one. So this one is our most likely a DX4 100 overdrive. I can't see any of this stuff. It's all been wiped off, but most likely that's what happened. These don't seem as bad on this one. Yeah, I think we'll be able to get away here like that. Mechanical pencil is very useful when you have the double bent pins, like when you have the little jag in the pin, or the little wiggle. Helps you get that wiggle out of the middle a little bit. Sometimes you can find cheap processors on eBay with the pins bent, because some people are scared of trying to straighten these pins. It helps to have a microscope, especially when you get old like me. This was something I used to do with bare eyes. I wouldn't do it nowadays without a microscope, because my eyesight is white hot garbage. Is my mechanical pencil a number 5? 0.5, yeah, it's a 0.5 is what I use here. I don't think a 0.8 would get you enough control. I'll show you the pencil. It's an oldie, but it's a good one. Sometimes you do have to work in both directions if the pins are gonna run into each other. Down here. Getting closer, getting closer. That row is pretty good. One's getting in the way. Okay. All right, so what's better, watching grass grow or straightening CPU pins? Okay. Getting there. We're getting there, people. If I DIY did this, he would have really good audio and much better video. It would be very, very relaxing. Big Bad Papa Wolf, hello. Random Seed says it's pretty darn meditative. We're just gonna... Could we come up with a yoga move? The pin straightening. Going up here. Straightening our pins. Making happy little pins. Happy little pins. Look at all the fuzz. I wish they weren't such fuzzy little pins. I think we're almost there. I think we should be close enough to give this a shot. Yeah, always take a look at a second angle too, just in case. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I think it'll be good enough to go. Oh. Considering where we started off, I think this is pretty good. Okay. All right, let's get out the computer that we're going to test this with. This is one of my favorite computers that I have in my entire collection. Whoa. Oh, I pulled the processor out because it had a DX2 and that's what I wanted to use to test that other board. Oh geez, I'm dropping stuff. We gotta get the processor out of this. So this is the processor that was in this computer. So, this computer, the case, is a CompuDyne, or from a CompuDyne computer, which was the CompUSA house brand. So if you had a CompUSA build you a computer, they would call it a CompuDyne. Let's see, that goes there like that. Did I bend one of those? No? Nope, I was off by one. There we go. And the very first stream I ever did, which was sort of just like a test stream before I even like started my YouTube channel, was to pop this open when I got it. Look at this case. Look at how beautiful that case is. We've got 1990s teal. Got the beautiful little things here. Got the combo floppy drive. I added this DVD drive later, or CD drive later. And so this was not the original motherboard that was in here. I did add this later. I swapped it out because the original one just had an ISA. I think we actually used that board in my 46 ISA test bench that's in one of Tech Ambrosia's test bench cases. But this is an Asus VL/I 46 SV2G motherboard. And one of the fun bits, you can see it. This board actually lets you put up to 1 meg of cache in here, which is kind of wild for a 46. And it just so happens that I have these. We're not going to do this today, but I have the cache to upgrade that to 1 meg of cache. So at some point, we need to do some benchmarking and see if 1 meg of cache is actually useful for a 486 at all. But the other bit, I'll pop this out and show you. You might have seen that there's a random wire hanging out the back that was looping back around. So Visa local bus, that's the bus you want to have with a 486. Gets you your 32-bit power bandwidth. This is a pretty rare video card. So it's an Orchid Kelvin. And it has an MPEG-2 decoder, or I think it just might be MPEG-1. Yeah, an MPEG-1 decoder on it. So the base video is a Cirrus Logic 5434, which is a pretty darn quick video processor, but this also has hardware MPEG decoder. So it's an Orchid Kelvin MPEG. Super cool old card. So this is something I want to get, like a fun little Windows 3.1 video capture and playback system going. Put that back in there. Oh, Retro Chris also has an Orchid Kelvin. Nice. Okay, so video, or yeah, not video. That's that. No, I don't have a AWE64. This is just an ESS audio drive that's in this computer, which is a nice enough card, but it's not super fancy. I also have an Adaptec, I think it's a 1540 SCSI card in there, and 3Com Etherlink 3. Yeah, 3C509B. Okay, what do we have? We have everything attached. So this is just with the original processor. I want to make sure this system works. Okay, we got a beep, we got video. Wow, RetroTick Chris has the same motherboard. That's wild. Yeah, so there's our Adaptec 1540. I might throw a PicoGus in this one. We'll see. But this is really like a Windows 3.1. PicoGus is much better for DOS stuff. And blue SCSI it. Yeah, we gotta blue SCSI it too. Okay, CD DOS bench. I just have a compact flash. I think it's a 256 meg compact flash card in there as my drive. Let's run check CPU. Okay, yeah, DX266. We got our bus at 33, so that's good to go. So let's quit back to DOS. Now, so theoretically, the DX4 Overdrive CPU should just go right into there. There's very little clearance here with the case. I think with a regular DX4, you have to change the jumper settings. Just giving this one more look. And making sure we're in the right ones. It's one of the issues with the 486. You can kind of put them in any orientation if you're not careful. Oh, something's hanging up over here. What's hanging up over here? Don't like that one. Not helping that this thing is all the way down inside the case. I think what I'm gonna do, let me grab another 46 board with a ZIF socket. Oh crap. Oh wait, no, I think I have one over here. Sorry, one moment please. Oh yeah, here we go. So this was one of the other boards that came in this lot. We already tested this one out and it worked. So this is also a 46 board, but it has PCI slots, which is also very exciting. But yeah, this was in that lot of e-waste that I purchased. Wound up being a really good lot. So again, I'm not like forcing this down. As I'm going down, I'm like wiggling it a little bit to try to encourage the pins to go in, but I'm not gonna force it, okay? Yep, you can see they're kind of hanging up a little bit. One that I don't like. There we go. That one's all in. Set it. Pop it back out. And hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier. It's a lot easier to do this when you kind of have the whole board. I was also kind of wiggling it a little bit to try to encourage the pins to align as I took it out. But yeah, it's hard sometimes when you are trying to reach inside a computer like this, especially if you have bent pins. There we go. We're stuck in there. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. 3, 2, 1. Got a beep. P24CS at 100 megahertz. Sweet. Oh, this system's gonna be so killer. Oh, I'm so excited about this system. One of the things about this computer is when I got it, they had the, this was all written on the top, and I have not retro-brighted this or cleaned that off because I thought it was kind of cool. So let me know whether you think I should clean that all off and make the case look brand new, or if I should leave that on there. I thought that was kind of fun because people used to do that all the time to their computers. Okay. Retro Tech Chris says he'd clean it off. All right. So let's check our CPU. DX4 100, 3x multiplier times 33. That looks good. Let's do our cache check real quick. It's going to be angry because we have high mem, I think, installed. I think it prefers to run without high mem. Yeah. It's okay. Okay, yeah, so you can see the internal 16K, then we go up, and then we get to there, so we have 256K installed now. Someday, we'll have that go up to 1 meg, which would be really cool. Random C says, no, those are real people with fairly good handwriting. I DIY says, the writing doesn't seem special, don't know the context, but whatever makes you happy. Well, it's just that, so, you know, DIY is more of a Mac person. And so he's used to hard drives just being detected by the computer, and it just works. So in PCs, you need to go into the BIOS, you need to change your settings, and you need to configure the hard drive to match, or the hard drive settings to match what the hard drive actually is. And so when the CMOS batteries would die, you would lose those settings. And so people would just write the hard drive settings on their cases, just because you didn't want to lose that information. So yeah, but it looks like so far, what is it? We got 3 out of 4 people saying to restore it back to original. Okay. So there we go. We're good. All right, so let's run some Doom. Let's go run some Doom. Oh yeah, this looks quick. Let's go back. 2023 Realtix 2023. Wow. That gets us up to 36.9 frames per second. So before, when I tested this computer with the DX266, we had 27.6 frames per second. This is 36.9. That's pretty cool. That is cranking. Let's do the minimum one just for poops and giggles, or quite literally giggles most likely. DIY says I'd still clean it, especially with a blue scuzzy. Yeah. $692 Realtix. That's gonna be wild. Okay, so what do we got? 692. That's 107.9 frames per second. Before, when I did that, it was 80 frames per second. So we're seeing a massive, yeah, that's excellent. So we went from 27.6 with the DX266 to 36.9 for the high doom settings. And then 80, or for the low settings, it was 80 frames per second with the DX266. We went up to 107.9. Massive speed improvement with that. Let's check just system info real quick, and we'll go over to the benchmarks. CPU speed, yeah, it's reading almost like a Pentium 66. So that's pretty darn cool. Well, that was a lot of fun. So if you want to see at some point how 1 meg of cache affects a 486 system, make sure to tune back in. Get subscribed. Do the bell icon and whatnot. At some point, I want to have this all configured. Do video capture and playback. I do have a ISA video capture card that I want to play with. And so we'll see if you need 1 meg of cache or if it helps at all. So yeah, DX4 100. Oh, that's exciting. The other thing I just noticed here, I mentioned that I don't have any boards that support 3-volt processors. Where did that other processor go? Where are you at, processor? Oh well, it's around here somewhere, I hope. Here we go. So yeah, the DX4 100 requires 3.45 volts. You can see here this board has places for more components. And so this is where the VRM would have been to use one of those processors. So it looks like things are sort of silk screen. We've got a LT10108S and ND8605. So I don't know, theoretically we could add the components to add the voltage regulator onto that. The thing is, I would hate to destroy this board. I don't know, I'll think about it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out today. Yeah, Chris, check your board and see if yours actually has all the voltage regulator bits on there. That would be, if you could get a picture of that, that would be awesome. But yeah, thanks for hanging out today. We're gonna end today's stream. We got 2 boards working. Well, we got 1 board working, 1 sort of working. We fixed the pins on 2 processors. We tested one of those processors. I'll order the stupid SRAM chip that is missing 4 legs and see if we can get that to work. But anyway, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thank you all. And we'll be back at it next weekend. I might do a midweek stream this week. We'll see. So keep your eyes out. Check the social medias. Big Bad Biologist at bitbang.social on Mastodon. I've also been hanging out on Threads a little bit more recently. So I'm Big Bad Biologist there. So yeah, thank you all. I appreciate the heck out of you, and I will see you again soon. Have a lovely week. Bang, 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 bang.